Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 2 in operations management. This week, we're going to focus on strategy, understanding what the organization's kind of aspirational vision for the company is, what's that far-reaching goal, the impact on society, the purpose for the organization, and then what's its mission. So getting a little bit more specific in terms of what is the contribution of the organization. And this is something that's still aspirational, but a little bit more achievable. And a little bit more specific in terms of the work that you do in the industry that you work in. And then we want to break that down and understanding the strategy is the operational approach, the steps that we'll take, the new innovations and designs, products, and services that will help us achieve that mission and get a little bit closer to our vision. I like the concept here, or at least having an image associated with a compass. In lean manufacturing, we often refer to the vision as really being true north. And that's because we're going to veer off course at times, but we want to be able to course correct and, again, get ourselves constantly a little bit closer towards achieving that vision. But the concept of true north is that while it'll provide you a direction, it's not something that you're ever going to be able to reach. So let's get started. I want to talk a little bit today about two types of strategy. One is a concept called blue ocean strategy, which is basically an innovative way about thinking about new market opportunities, untapped market potential, meeting needs of customers that are currently unmet. And I think that the person that espouses a lot of those values and that innovative, creative thinking is Elon Musk. The other side of that kind of strategy equation is something called red ocean strategy, where you're focused on kind of inching out and beating the competition. So I want to be able to break both of these apart. I love the textbook that we use. It is considered to be the best operations textbooks. Most people use it, but the literature has not been updated in the text with respect to strategy. There's still just a focus on creating competitive advantage through cost differentiation and response. But given some research done at Harvard and INSEAD in France over the past decade or so, there's been this kind of emergence in the field of strategy and thinking about blue oceans and trying to break down some of those assumptions that we have in helping us to be creative and innovative and to meet new market needs. So Elon Musk, he's a fascinating guy. There's some great books out about him. And, I think a lot of when people go back and do a biography talking about Elon Musk and how he got to where he is now, they, in many cases, reference his childhood. So he was brought up in South Africa, had a very tough childhood, and was able to escape in sci-fi books. And that always not only helped him to be creative and think differently, but he's held on to this kind of vision of humanity in terms of being multi-planetary. So being able to actually have Mars colonized by the human race. But also he's a little bit nervous about artificial intelligence and where that could potentially take us, and being a threat to humanity. Also he's very concerned about the limited resources on Earth and how quickly we're using them up. So in order to, as he says, basically save the human race, he wants to be able to colonize Mars. So that's always been his vision, driven by a vision for humanity's future. While he was really kind of finding his way, he taught himself to program. He had this idea for this company, which he started called Zip2, and it was basically a different way of banking. And the way he originally thought about it, I think, is probably a little bit more in line with Bitcoin. So I think it fell short of what his vision was for that company. But right, if you shoot for the moon, if you don't reach it, you're going to land among the stars. And I think that's appropriate here, because while he didn't get to that point with Zip2 that he was hoping for, he did eventually co-found PayPal and found that there was this huge market and this opportunity for creating online banking transactions that were safe. So PayPal was really launched. That was his first successful organization. He was able to take the earnings from PayPal and then really kind of he put almost all of them, to the point where he was almost bankrupt, into SpaceX, because he believed so fiercely that we needed to bolster our technological capabilities in terms of space exploration, and was discouraged that the space program in the United States was kind of falling to the wayside and was not being given more attention. So he took this entire industry that was once funded through the government and completely privatized it. And in doing so, he brought the price point down of space exploration by tenfold, making it much more feasible for us to have successful missions to go up, but also to invest more money into identifying opportunities for future exploration. He's probably best known for Tesla, which again is looking to completely disrupt the auto industry. If we look at the auto industry, there's been pretty much very little innovation over the course of the past 100 years. If you think back to the Model T, yes, it looks different, but from a technical standpoint, it's really not that fundamentally different from the cars that we drive today. So Tesla, and completely rethinking the automotive industry, how we're thinking about renewable energy sources, which went hand in hand then with Solar City, and him creating this entire company that's going to help move us towards renewable energy, creating shingles, roof shingles that will function as solar cells and support our entire home. He also has a company called OpenAI, where he is really looking at exploring artificial intelligence and putting a lot of resources into understanding what the threats and opportunities are for artificial intelligence. So if we think about Elon Musk, he is really kind of this blue ocean strategy thinker by nature, right? Being creative, not really kind of being held back by assumptions or limitations that we have in a particular industry, but by completely challenging them and finding new market opportunities. So if we have that vision, and usually the founding father, whoever it was that started the company, has that kind of passion in their heart in terms of their vision for the organization or a better future, that's that aspirational goal. But we can break that down into a mission and a strategy. A mission is a statement which is more clear, a little bit closer, more achievable, and that's telling us where the organization is going. And the strategy is how we're going to get there. So again, if we think about the mission statement, it's things like who are we, what we value. It brings in some of those aspirational pieces in terms of our contribution to society from the vision. Again, the vision statement, again, being a little bit further out, what do we want to become? Creating something that is so far-reaching that we know, again, it's that kind of true north direction that we want to strive for. We're never going to achieve it, but we want to be moving in that direction. Our strategy is how we will achieve our vision, and then we also have goals and objectives, which will gauge our degree of success in doing that. So again, our mission is, where is the organization going? It's our purpose for being. It answers questions like, what do we contribute to society? But it also provides some boundaries and focus. So to give you an example, if we look at Steve Jobs' original mission statement for Apple, now this was back in the late 80s, early 90s, it is to make a contribution to the world by making tools for the mind that advance humankind. Right, so it's inspirational, it's aspirational because it's really far out, but it's not that specific. And that was okay because at the time that's what he was passionate about, and he wanted to create tools for the mind, again, that would advance humankind. But what exactly those tools were and the rapid pace at which they were evolving kept it so that the mission statement at that point in time, was really vague because the company wasn't quite sure what it was making, and where it would eventually land. So if we look at Apple's current mission statement, it is Apple designs Macs, which I'm using right now to record this, the best personal computers in the world, along with OS X, iLife, iWork, and professional software. Apple leads the digital music revolution with its iPods and iTunes online store. Apple has reinvented the mobile phone with its revolutionary iPhone and App Store, and is defining the future of mobile media and computing devices with iPad. So again, it's taking those components from, kind of that aspirational vision that the company originally had, and now really that original statement, mission statement, is more of a vision, and now their mission statement is crystal clear in terms of what they are contributing to society and being the best at delivering these types of products for the customer. Some factors affecting the mission: certainly you want to bring in components about the philosophy and organizational values, occasionally bringing in profitability and shareholder growth, public image, understanding who your customers are and what the contribution to your customers are, how you're working with and impacting the environment. And all of that goes into then ultimately that benefit to society. So before we get into strategy, I'm going to take a brief stop here, and I will pick back up here in